Good day guys, Luke here from Australian Off-Road. What we're going to try and do today is we're going to take you through the factory. Obviously with everything going on at the minute we can't really do factory tours, so we're quite proud of what we've got here, so we want to take this opportunity to just take you through and show you how it all works. So follow me, we'll head to the welding shop. Alrighty guys, so as you can see we've got a chassis here. We're in the fabrication shed, just to give you a bit of a rundown on the chassis process. So as you can see, one in here now, this is a Quantum Plus by the looks of it. It's all Supergal steel that we use, so nice and strong but electrostatically galvanized inside and out, so in terms of rusting, you're not going to have any issues with this side. We do it a lot differently to most of our competitors. Most people do hot dip. Now one of the main reasons for us is because we use that one piece floor, which you'll see later on. When we powder coat we don't get the heat distortion go through the steel, so in turn this stays nice and true, which then makes it a lot easier for us to seal that floor down and make sure it's all nice and level for when the cabinets go down. So this gives you the first stages of it. Once it's been made, we'll move over next door and then you'll see one once it comes back from the powder coat. So it does give it that nice finish, but it also means that the weight gets kept down on there. So when you look at our tear weights, they are quite light. By using the powder coating method we roughly save 35 to 40 kilos. So obviously in this game everything is about weight now, so that's one of the crucial things with that. So we've moved next door, so this is moving more into your chassis fit out stages, but what I'm trying to highlight here is you get to see a chassis once it's been powder coated. So this one's just come in, it's still on the trolley, obviously it's just literally rolled in, but you can see the finish that the chassis got now it's been powder coated. So we've seen before powder coating, we've seen after powder coating. From here now this will start to get fitted out with tanks, wiring harnesses, gas lines, protector plates, jockey wheels, hitches, all that side of it. So roughly this is, give or take on a single axle, probably 20 to 22 hours of that build cycle, but in here is where all this gets fitted out and then it's getting ready to move it next door for the fiberglass assembly. So you get to see a chassis obviously with nothing in, just rolled in. The one next door here, which we've got a Quantum full height, you'll get to see some of the tanks sitting in there, which will give you an overview of the tanks and where they are positioned. So a lot of how we set this out is on weight distribution. So in terms of your big tanks, you've got one either side of the axle, so it's not impacting that ball weight too much. As you can see, the tanks are sitting in zinc plating, so nice and protected, obviously from any oncoming stones, anything like that. The gas lines themselves are actually ran in a thick plastic tubing, so protected from any oncoming stones, any traffic that can come underneath there. There is different option with tanks, which we can see here. We've got a grey water tank, which is a split option. But it just gives you an overview of everything that goes into this and the protection that we use, even down to the side of the tank where the plumbing fittings are. You've got these oncoming baffles which just stop anything again from hitting any of them fittings and damaging anything. So everything is designed for off-road use. We only build off-road trailers. Common asked question. This gives you basically an overview of what we're selling here when we say it is off-road. As you can see, I'm sandwiched in here between the panels. I hope you get the pun, sandwich. So you can see we've got a bit of stock here of our fiberglass panels, and we've just done a bit of a walk through of the fiberglass shed. It's a bit noisy in there, so we haven't gone in to do this side of it, but just to explain the process, obviously we've seen the chassis next door once they get fitted out. Once that process has been done, they'll roll into here where the body gets assembled. One of the videos that we touch on later on, which you'll see, is the floor, which is obviously crucial in this area, showing that one piece floor, which will be one of these panels, and then from there the side panels will go into play as well. So you can see there the thickness of the fiberglass, which gives you that insulation properties, but also adds a lot of strength into the trailer. So it has progressed a lot over the years, moving from the aluminium construction to the fiberglass, but all our models now are built out of the fiberglass, so that's how confident we are that this is the way to go in trailers now. Obviously for the flex, the dust sealing parameters, the insulation, and also just the repairability, being that like a boat you can easily fill that in, polish it, buff it back, and you'll get it back to almost new each time. So it just gives you an overview that everything is done on site. So as you've seen, chassis are made on site, swing arms are made on site, the bodies are put together on site for that dust sealing. You've seen the cabinets, the build line process, the finishing bay. So this is really what sets us apart, and we like to show this off as much as we can. Obviously at the minute we are struggling to take people through the factory with what's going on, but as you can see everything's operating as normal. We're still here, we're still battling through, we haven't been impacted, so you're getting to see all this now as from basically a back seat, just to get to see exactly what goes into each build. We run
to just highlight to everyone as much as possible that production is still operating as normal even through these tough times. Obviously with everything still going on, we've still got trailers to build. The lead time that we've got carries us through this period, which is brilliant. So we're still fully booked out to the year, which means these guys have got work to the end of the year obviously, and everyone knows what they're doing. So forecasting of parts, we've got it all out there ready to go. So as you can see, a lot of cabinets sitting here. We're doing a lot of photos, videos just through the factory now, just showing people what we're doing. As I say, this is your cabinets department. So next door, just to the left, we've got the CNC machine that cuts all our cabinets out, so it's all done in-house. And then as you can see, the boys here put it all together by hand, so it's all screwed together, so it's nice and strong. And as you can see, the majority of the material we use, the carcass, is actually a lightweight ply, so very, very strong, but at the same time very light. So now we've moved next door to the cabinets into the cams area, so our parts department. So as you can see in the background, we've got Bill over the back actually just in the process of making up the water fillers, so making sure they're sealed, putting them all together. But a lot of our parts that go into the trailers are made in this area, so very, very underrated areas, I call it. A lot happens in here towards that build. As a rule of thumb, our builds are roughly 12 weeks, and a big, big portion of that is actually getting all these kits ready so that build can progress through onto the build line and get everything fitted out. So as you can see, Wendy will do a bit of a walk around of this area, and you'll get to see plumbing kits, door vent kits, sliders, fridges, you name it. A big chunk of every trailer is processed through here and put together, so it's all done by hand, so we can obviously check the quality control as well. So now moving on to the build line, obviously one of the most important parts of the whole build process. So as you can see, one of the trailers in the build at the minute, this is quite early on in the stages. Every build that we do will have 2 fitters. The Aurora is slightly different, that tends to have 3, but your single axle trailers will have 2 fitters, one inside fitter, one outside fitter. As a rule of thumb, we tend to have 6 to 7 builds going at once, so obviously we are quite a big manufacturer now, a lot of trailers being built at once. If we have a bit of a walk down, you'll see some of the different trailers being made. So as you can see, we've got a Quantum here, quite early on in the build stages, so this has just moved in from the fiberglass shed. The first job is always to get them modules in while we've got the big openings before the dividers and the shrouds go in there. So as a rule of thumb, each build will roughly spend 12 days on the line. Obviously leading up to this process, we've already made the chassis, fitted out tanks, wiring harnesses, gas lines. The body's already been prepped, stud, sealed, vinyl's been put in there. So that 12 days, although it doesn't seem long, is still a big, big part, because you've got to fit every part into that trailer and make sure it's all ready to go. So on to the next department in the build process. So this is stepping outside of our new trailers. This is more moving on to the service side. As you can see, we've got a Quantum Plus in here now getting serviced by John, the fastest servicer in the West, as we call him. So John's underneath now, he's doing part of the 10K service. He's already done the brake side, but as you can see, service is still operating as normal as well. So it's not just the build side, we are flat stick as well with service side, maintenance, warranty, insurance work. So these guys are always under the pump with that side of it. We do have many service centres, but a lot of people do like to bring them back here for expertise, as you can see with John there. Wealth of knowledge, people want to pay for that. Alrighty guys, we've moved down into the finishing bay, so we're going to show you a bit of that side in a second. Just perfect opportunity while we've got a body here now. This is getting ready to move on to the line. So the body fit out's just been completed. As you can see, we've got us padded vinyl on the walls. We guarantee dust sealing, and a lot of people ask us how we guarantee this. As you can see here, so with the floor, such a key component being that it's a one-piece floor. What I mean by one piece is there's no joins in there. So crucial for this dust sealing parameters. Obviously the less joins we've got, the easier it is to guarantee that. As you can see there, if Wendy just shines around onto the front, you'll see the front nose cone. Once we've actually sealed that nose cone on, we actually fiberglass it from the inside. So what we're in turn doing there is eliminating any joins as well. And as you can see at the rear, where you've got your panels that are joined together, all them are screeded over from the inside to seal that off and turn it into a monocoque design. So basically we've eliminated as many joins as we can by not using components like three-way fridges. We don't have to vent externally, so even on that side, as little as possible, we basically drill into this body to make it as dust tight as it can be. So great to see it in this form before it starts to getting fitted out with your modules and everything like that. So shower cubicles in, which is a one-piece cubicle, again for sealing parameters. You've got your fiberglass
fiberglass panels, which as you can see, we've got the vinyl flooring which is glued on top of the fiberglass floor, and then we glue this vinyl onto the inside of the walls for your insulation, but also again thickness of that wall just to give it a bit more insulation properties, but also it gives it that nice finish on the inside. So padded vinyl rather than just leaving the fiberglass finish. Alrighty, last stage of the build here. So this is the finishing bay, as we like to call it. So as you can see, there's quite a few trailers in here at the minute, and we've also got the new little ZR getting its finishing touches, but every build will roll down into here as the final stage. And what happens in here is a number of things. So you've got your upholstery, you've got your mattresses going in there, you've got weighing of the trailer, so every trailer is individually weighed, obviously to give it a key weight just for that trailer with its options in. You've got detailing going on, you've got decals, but the main thing I want to touch on is the QC process. So every trailer individually is quality control checked in here. It does get a check on the line before it leaves, but down here is where we do the road testing, the smoke testing, which is a big thing for obviously that dust sealing, but also all them little checks underneath, checking plumbing fittings, door seals, everything you can think of. So big portion of the trailer build is put into this scenario where we're basically testing the trailer at the last stage before it rolls out the door and then goes into showroom ready for handover. So busy department, and roughly we finish a trailer in here every 1 3/4 days. We tend to hand over every second day, so very busy in here. A lot of people trying to get on the trailer, checking for awnings and things like that. So as you can see through the video that we've just done, there's quite a number of trailers getting different processes done. You've got different sides for different things that'll happen. So over this side it tends to be your awnings, on this side it tends to be cleaning, decals and QC side. So hopefully that gives you a good overview of what we're trying to achieve here. But as I say, we're still operating as normal. A lot of trailers going in. You'd hate to see the showroom at the minute, there's that many trailers in there stored, but because obviously we are finishing as per normal, we're getting the trailer out every 1 to 2 days in there. So depending on where customers are situated, whether they're Queensland or whether they're outside, depends as to whether we have to store them or not. So like I say, operating as normal, guys, everything's still rolling. So yeah, any inquiries, just let us know.